The first lesson I learned was that life will never, ever, ever be the same again. There's no going back to regular programming. There's no going back to having your wife all to yourself. There's no going back to having your life all to yourself. There's somebody else in your life now, and you have to just deal with it. Hi guys, my name is Fireman. I'm a 27-year-old husband and dad, more recently. Not that recent anymore. I have a daughter and she just turned 1 year old literally 2 days ago. It's been something. It's been a roller coaster of emotions, moments, lessons. So I was doing some self-reflecting with my wife and we're thinking about all the things that we've learned in this 12 months of being parents, right? And I thought again that maybe I should share some of these lessons with people online that I've never met in my life, which is always a great idea, right? No, but for real, the reason why I decided to share this is because I was looking out for a lot of information. I was looking out for any information I could find online when I found that I was going to be a dad, and even since during the process of being a dad, right? I'm always looking out for more information, because it's a new thing. I've never been a dad before, literally. And there isn't any exact class that you would have attended that you would have learned how to be a dad. Obviously we would try to learn from watching our dads or watching other people's dads and just realizing that, oh, that's a good dad. I'm probably going to be like that when I have a kid. But when you actually have a kid, it's like you are now learning on the job. Problem, another problem. So all of this long introduction just to say, today I will be sharing my top 10 lessons since I became a dad. So the second thing that I learned pretty early, or let's say a few months into being a dad, is that it is worse for your wife or for your partner. The reason why I say this is because, like, for the man, for the guy, the major thing in your head is probably like, oh, I have to provide, I have to lock in, I have to work hard now because now my family is bigger, because now I have more mouths to feed. So you're going to be grinding, you're going to be reaching out for opportunities, you're going to be working hard, right? And it's a lot of mental stress because you're going to worry about money. Even if you have a lot of money, you're still going to worry about money because you need more money no matter what. I need that money. So you're going to worry about money, you're going to worry about just the well-being of your kid. I need that money. You're going to put yourself last, so all that is going to probably take a toll on your mental. I need that money. And your physical. But that's pretty much it for guys, right? For the women, your partner, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever it is, hopefully your wife, right? They have to deal with having their body change so dramatically. From just observing my wife and seeing how she has gone through the process, it is a lot. It's even more mental strain on them than us. Perhaps they are the ones who are going to stay at home and take care of the child, right? You are going to be outside working. So it's still sort of regular programming for you, right? You're dealing with the outside world whilst she deals with this new human being that doesn't know how to communicate, that literally just needs and just feeds on attention over and over again. I mean, you get back from work and you deal with that too, but she's there around the clock dealing with that. And all of that while she's dealing with her body's changing. I mean, she just gave birth. And if you were there while she was giving birth, then you know that that's a crazy experience. We'll talk about that in a different video. This is after going through 9 months of not even having a body, 9 months of having somebody just live inside of her, 9 months of having somebody feed off of her. It's like we know what that is, but we don't really know as men what that is. It's always going to be worse for your wife. She has to deal with that, and she also has to deal with you, because you are thinking, you are grinding, you are going outside. You don't know that your whatever mental state you are bringing back into the house is also having an effect on her. She also has to be there for you, has to cook for you, give you some of that eventually. It's always going to be worse for her. The first thing I learned was that, I need to be able to detach from my own emotions and how I'm feeling and try to step into her shoes a little bit and see that, she needs all the help that she can get. Like, no matter what I'm doing outside, I need to come back and provide some extra type of help. So the next thing that I learned, this one was pretty early, but it just took a while to accept it, that this is my new life. The thing is, forget about sleeping. You're not gonna get that much sleep anymore. You're not gonna get the type of sleep you're getting when you were single, when you were just newly married, playing around. You're not gonna get that type of sleep anymore. It really puts it in your mind that, man, I had so much free time when I didn't have a kid. what was I doing with all that free time? Because now you don't have time anymore. You have to go to work, come back, and still rock that baby to, for some reason, for some weird reason. All babies like their fathers putting them to sleep somehow. Like the mothers try and they don't really get it, but it's so easy for the fathers. Not easy, but like they sleep off on the father's arms, right? So you have to come back and be in the right mental state to put that baby to sleep. And sometimes, man, like the early months, we were not sleeping. I mean, I was even sleeping more than my wife, right? Because like, obviously, I had to go to work the next day, so like I got caught some slack, and then her mother and my mother were around for some time, so there was some help. But like, forget about sleep. Sleep is going to be something you're going to have to readjust back to eventually when the child is like older. The first couple of months, we were staying up till 2 a.m. I was staying up to 2 a.m. My wife and her mother were staying up till 4 a.m. I would go to bed by 2 a.m., right? And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'll hear the gist that they were awake till 4 a.m. I'm like, oh, man, that's crazy. But like, I was still like trying my best, staying up to 2 a.m. with them, staying up to 2 a.m. with the kid, rocking the kid and all of that. And eventually when my mom left, I had to now experience what it is to not sleep by 2 a.m. Even if you sleep by 2 a.m., I'll be honest with you, you're going to wake up probably like 3-4 times in the middle of the night. So when you sleep by 2 a.m., you have 2 to probably 6. I wake up like 6. You have 2 to 6 to get some type of sleep. And you're going to wake up in between maybe like 3 to 4 times because like the kid is going to cry about something. Something is going to be, either she wants some milk in terms of like breast milk, or either she just wants to be rocked back to sleep. Yeah, so you're going to be sleep deprived, and that's probably going to take a toll on your mental and your physical state. But I feel like if you're prepared to be sleep deprived a little bit, it might help. But I don't know how to prepare for that, but that's a big lesson that I learned. Now it's okay if I don't sleep. I'm not going to run mad. I already did that.
I need that money.
So the next thing that I learned is that you need to seek guidance or do as much research as you can about everything, because like I said, this is a new course, it's a new job, you're learning on the job, you have no idea of how to be a parent. Seek as much information as you can online, and not Google, not the type of things that would freak you out. There would be those ones where you're like, I remember I was up Googling like, oh, is it okay if my baby breathes this way? Is it okay if my baby cries this way? And Google will smash you with some crazy type of answers, bro. It's like, oh man, your baby is this. And the names always sound like, oh, if I don't do something right now, something sinister is going to happen, right? So try and take whatever you find online with a grain of salt, I would even recommend seeking counsel even more than you Google things, right? Like ask somebody who's been a parent before, ask your mother, your father, people who've been parents for years, who even have multiple kids, Speaking of multiple kids, how do y'all even do that? Like I have one and I'm like, this is good enough. How do you go through this and then decide to do it again? I would never know. All right, so the next thing that I learned, this one took me some time, right? Because like, I didn't get it until I got it. And that is, your house will probably be a mess. And it's not your wife's fault. In this side of the world, like when the man goes to work, it's expected that, the wife at home cooks and sort of cleans and just basically takes care of the house, right? So it looks good, feels like a home. And I'm sort of like I wouldn't say a neat freak, but I like my home, my house feeling clean and spacious. So I didn't get that until there was one weekend where like I was like fully at home, like I was fully off work. So I got to spend some time with my kid. I woke up in the morning, usual stuff. I tidied up the house. The house was looking nice. And my daughter was in her prime then, like in terms of like she was even standing up, touching things, moving things. She was more aware, right? So I tidied up in the morning, and by like 11 a.m., the house was a mess. So I tidied up the house again, and I kid you not, in the next hour or hour 30 minutes, it was a mess again. I quickly realized that day that this is how this happens. My wife probably goes through this every hour or every other hour until, I get back from work and the house is a mess. And truly, it isn't her fault. She's trying the best that she can do. And there is just this little human that just decides that, hey, yo, I'm gonna just move these things over here and move that over there because it looks better. It's more aesthetically pleasing to me. So the next thing that I learned is that there is no love like the love a father will have for his child. Abby is my first child. That's my daughter. Abby, my daughter, is my first child, right? And I've never felt so hopelessly in love with another human before, right? It's like she had not said a word to me and I was already hopelessly in love. Like all she did was exist and I was already hopelessly in love. It's that type of love where you know that like you wouldn't think about it to jump in front of a train, to jump in front of anything that tries to harm her in any way. This is when you know that you literally unalive for someone if need be, It's so beautiful and scary at the same time because like, I mean, imagine when she actually starts communicating with me and then I start seeing more of her personality. I mean, so I'm just going to be like a finished man. I'm already a finished man, but it's like, I'm just going to be, it's wild. That's what I would say, man. And you cannot understand that type of love until you actually feel it. I'll just be honest. So that was a lesson I learned pretty quickly in terms of like as soon as she was, passed onto my arms. I just knew that, yeah, this is the type of person that you could end someone for, it's something. All right, the next thing that I learned, I've always seen it even before I had my own child, was like, oh, it takes a village, it takes a community to grow a child. We've had considerable help from family, my mom, her sisters, her brother, her father, friends, people have shown up for us in many, many ways. Like, for example, we had a baby shower before she was born and, we got so much diapers, baby wipes, like so much that it lasted us, I think about 6 or 7 months before we actually got one of those. If I'm being honest, actually, the first wipes I actually got with my own money was like when she was like 10 or 11 months, that's when I even realized how much wipes were. I was like, oh, this is the price of wipes. Oh, okay. I didn't know. So like our friends showed up for us, family has showed up for us. You won't always be in 100% mentally ready, mentally prepared, mentally available to handle your child, right? So sometimes in those down moments, you need a family member or a friend to show up for you and just, be able to pass the right type of energy to your child. And you need to be able to feel like, yeah, my child is safe in this person's care. And so, yeah, it does take a community, it does take a village. That's true, guys. So the next thing that I've learned is it gets easier. That didn't seem like a possibility when my wife and I were staying up to 3 a.m., 2 a.m. and having to wake up 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and do the same thing over again. It didn't seem like it was possible. Honestly, I thought those people online were lying. I thought everybody was lying. I thought everybody was like just luring us further, deeper into this parent hole, which is like a trap. I thought we're being conned, to believing that it's gonna get easier. But now that we've like watched her grow, we can now like see that it actually get easier. Now she's sleeping a bit more. She has a sleep schedule. You can plan, like say, oh, when I feed her and then give her a bath, she's probably gonna sleep for like the next 2 hours or 3 hours. So you have time to do one or two things within that time. I mean, she's waking up by herself and getting down from the bed herself, and then like walking to you wherever you are. So that takes off the edge of feeling like, oh, maybe she'll fall off the bed. Maybe she'll wake up and try to stand and then fall off the bed. She knows how to get down by herself. I mean, she's a ninja now. She can get down from wherever by herself. It's beautiful and scary at the same time, I remember the first time she got down from the bed by herself. Like my wife and I were in the dining, we were just chilling and talking, and she just walked to us. Like she just walked to us and appeared, and we're both like, what just happened? Like, what? How did you like? Hey, that was crazy, honestly. So, but basically, we can see her take charge of her life by herself. She's also eating by herself a little bit. Like she's trying to even refuse the times where you try to feed her with a spoon. She wants to eat with a spoon. It's a mess, but like she's trying. So you can see parenthood also slightly being a supervisory role as well, eventually. And now for the last and final lesson, which was probably the The most important one that I've learned, and the most important one for anybody who's looking to be like a dad, or is a dad, is that they grow up so fast. I can remember the day we brought her back from the hospital. She couldn't hold her neck by herself. She couldn't hold her neck by herself, and now she's running, dancing, standing, walking, demanding, saying dada. She's doing all of these things that seem like that we were thinking, oh, when will she start doing this? And she's already doing all of these things in 12 months. When she took her first step, I wasn't there, but my wife got a video and I saw the video. That happened so fast in my head. That happened so fast. Like where she's at right now, she's dancing by herself. It's so fast. I'm like, relax. We just brought you back home like 2 days ago, but really it's been 12 months. It's like if you blink, you're going to miss everything. That's a very important lesson that I've learned. You have to try as much as possible to be there, to be present. I know as a man, you're probably thinking of how to level up, make more money, provide, put foods in the mouths of the people under your care. But like when you come back, spend time with the family, or when you can, say no to some work and then spend time with the family. Like watch them grow, because like in a couple of years it's gonna look like they were never a child, So if you've made it to the end of this video, those are my top lessons from 12 months of being a dad to a wonderful girl that's becoming a beautiful princess every day. I mean, these are just some of the lessons that I've learned. Some of them are like more subtle. Some of them are like screaming in your face type of lessons. I'm just so psyched for the remaining journey, for the rest of the journey, for the rest of my life, honestly. Just watching her grow is going to be a blessing. One heavy lesson that, I've also learned is that you need God. You need to pray for your child. There's going to be moments where you are not there. You're far from her. You're far from the child. So like, you need to be able to have to rely on God, and the Holy Spirit to guide your child, to be able to help them make the right decisions. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. This is the first of these type of videos. I mean, I'll see if I can put out a couple more. I don't know if this is a full-time thing yet, but like, doesn't hurt to share some of my experiences, right? I mean, if this gets 60 views, those are 60 people who know better, who can prepare for fatherhood. But the truth is, you can never be prepared.